and welcome to this course on penetration testing, threat hunting, and cryptography. In cybersecurity, even the smallest code flaw can become a major risk. As organizations increasingly rely on digital platforms, the risks associated with sensitive information online grow significantly. In an era where cyber threats are pervasive and data breaches make headlines daily, the need for skilled cybersecurity experts has never been greater. This course is for early career professionals and professionals looking to advance their cybersecurity skills. To participate in this course, you should understand IT fundamentals and have basic knowledge of cybersecurity and networks. Now, let's look at what you will learn in this course, beginning with penetration testing. Have you ever wondered what it's like to understand the mindset of a hacker with the goal of improving security? Here, you'll be able to uncover vulnerabilities, exploit loopholes, and push every system to its limit. Exciting, right? Penetration testing lets you do just that. It's an interesting process that uncovers vulnerabilities, strengthens defenses, and protects systems before cybercriminals have a chance. In this course, you will learn all about penetration testing. In addition, you will gain exposure to threat hunting and cryptography and get an overview of their role in cybersecurity. In this course, you will explore the essentials of penetration testing, beginning with planning and discovery. You'll also learn about rules of engagement and ethical and legal guidelines, and explore discovery techniques like passive and active reconnaissance and Google dorking for finding sensitive information. Then, you will explore the attack phase of penetration testing. Here you will learn about the key actions involved in the attack phase, including running exploits, bypassing defenses, gaining elevated privileges, and initiating post-attack activities. You will also explore various penetration testing tools and perform port and website scans using online penetration tools. Further, you will solidify your understanding of port scanning, network scanning, and network protocol analyzers through hands-on labs. Next, you'll learn about the reporting phase of penetration testing and will be introduced to the concepts of software and application pen testing. You will also learn to scan code repositories for vulnerabilities and understand its benefits. You will also understand the importance of the reporting phase, create comprehensive penetration testing reports, and implement the Penetration Testing Execution Standard, or PTES framework. Then, you'll learn the fundamentals of threat hunting and gain insights into threat intelligence's role in cybersecurity. You'll explore various threat intelligence sources, review recent security reports using the X-Force Threat Exchange, and get introduced to threat intelligence platforms, security information and event management, or SIEM systems, and threat intelligence frameworks. Subsequently, you'll explore core concepts and practices in cryptography. You'll learn about different data protection techniques, including encryption algorithms, cryptographic hash functions, and key management for ensuring integrity, confidentiality, and authenticity. Finally, you will apply the knowledge gained throughout the course in a final project. This module wraps up the course learning, highlights key takeaways, and outlines the next steps for further development. After completing the course and passing all graded assessments and the final project, you will receive a certificate and badge from IBM. To get the most from this course, make sure you watch every video, go through each reading, check your understanding of the quizzes, perform the hands-on labs and activities, test your knowledge with the graded assessments, and finally, complete the final project. Thank you for being a part of this course. We are thrilled to have you join us on this learning journey. Welcome to this video about penetration testing of computer systems. After watching this video, you will be able to explain penetration testing and describe the types of penetration testing. The internet is always under surveillance. Some countries monitor their internet networks because they want to control the flow of information to their population. Other countries monitor the internet to prevent hackers from stealing data that is vital to their national security. In the corporate world, many companies monitor the internet because they want to protect their trade secrets and also to keep confidential customer data safe. Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting networks, computers, and data from hacking, unauthorized access, or theft. A cybersecurity expert specializes in protecting data from unauthorized access, breaches, and theft. To keep data safe and secure, the cybersecurity expert performs a penetration test, or PIN test, that simulates a cyber attack and finds weaknesses in the computer system's security. Although ethical hacking and penetration testing are interchangeable terms, there is a distinction between the two. Ethical hacking encompasses a broader field within cybersecurity that uses hacking skills to improve network security. Penetration tests are one of the techniques that ethical hackers use. Additionally, ethical hackers may also offer services such as malware analysis, risk assessment, and other security-related tasks. Businesses and organizations conduct penetration tests for several reasons. Penetration tests offer a more comprehensive solution to cybersecurity than vulnerability assessments alone. While penetration tests and vulnerability assessments both help security teams find weaknesses in applications, devices, and networks, they serve slightly different purposes. Therefore, many organizations choose to use both methods rather than relying on just one. Vulnerability assessments are typically automated and recurring scans designed to detect known vulnerabilities within a system and flag them for review by security teams. These assessments allow for quick identification of common flaws. Penetration tests, on the other hand, take this activity a step further. When penetration testers uncover vulnerabilities, they try to exploit them through simulated attacks that mimic the behavior of malicious hackers. This process gives security teams an in-depth understanding of how real attackers might use these vulnerabilities to gain access to sensitive data or disrupt operations. Instead of guessing a potential hacker's actions, security teams can use this knowledge to design network security controls that counter real-world cyber threats. Penetration testing combines automated and manual processes to find known and unknown vulnerabilities. Because pen testers actively exploit the weaknesses they discover, they are less prone to false positives. If they can exploit a flaw, so can cybercriminals. These tests are typically conducted by third-party security experts who approach the system from an outsider's perspective, often uncovering flaws that in-house teams might miss. Cybersecurity experts also recommend pen testing as a proactive security measure. For instance, in 2021, the U.S. federal government encouraged companies to adopt pen testing to defend against escalating ransomware attacks. Penetration testing also supports regulatory compliance. Data security regulations, such as the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA, and the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, require specific security controls. Penetration tests help companies prove their compliance with these regulations by confirming the effectiveness of their controls. Some regulations even explicitly mandate pen tests. The Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, PCI DSS, applies to organizations processing credit card transactions and requires regular external and internal penetration testing. Pen tests can also support compliance with voluntary information security standards like ISO IEC 27001. Penetration tests have evolved considerably since they were introduced. While a penetration test involves a simulated attack against the organization's computer systems, different penetration tests focus on different enterprise assets. Broadly, there are 4 types of pen tests: application pen tests, network pen tests, hardware pen tests, personnel pen tests. Application pen tests seek vulnerabilities in applications and related systems, including web applications, websites, mobile and IoT apps, cloud apps, and application programming interfaces, APIs. Pen testers often begin by searching for vulnerabilities listed in the Open Web Application Security Project, OWASP Top 10, a periodically updated list of the most critical web application vulnerabilities. Common issues include malicious code injections, misconfigurations, and authentication failures. Beyond the OWASP Top 10, application pen tests find less common security flaws and unique vulnerabilities within the specific app being tested. Network pen tests target the company's entire network. There are primarily 2 types of network pen tests: external and internal. In external tests, pen testers mimic external hackers to find security issues in internet-facing assets like servers, routers, websites, and employee computers, trying to breach the network from outside. Internal tests simulate the behavior of malicious insiders or individuals with stolen credentials to uncover vulnerabilities that might be exploited within the network, such as abusing access privileges to steal sensitive data. Hardware pen tests focus on vulnerabilities in devices connected to the network, such as laptops, mobile and IoT devices, and operational technology, OT. Testers may search for software flaws, like an operating system exploit, or physical vulnerabilities, such as improperly secured data centers that malicious actors could exploit. The testers also assess how hackers might move from a compromised device to other network parts. Personnel pen testing evaluates employees' cybersecurity practices and the company's vulnerability to social engineering attacks. Testers use phishing, vishing, or voice phishing, and smishing, or SMS phishing, to trick employees into divulging sensitive information. They may also assess physical office security by trying to gain unauthorized access, for instance, by disguising themselves as delivery personnel, a tactic known as tailgating. A penetration test simulates a cyber attack and finds weaknesses in a computer system's security. In this video, you learn that businesses and organizations conduct penetration tests to discover vulnerabilities in computer systems and analyze how hackers might use the vulnerabilities to gain access to sensitive data or disrupt operations. Penetration tests support regulatory standards, such as HIPAA and GDPR, that help companies prove their compliance with these regulations. Different penetration tests focus on different enterprise assets. Broadly, there are 4 types of pen tests: application pen tests, network pen tests, hardware pen tests, personnel pen tests. Welcome to this video about penetration testing phases. After watching this video, you will be able to describe penetration testing phases, examine a penetration testing case study. Computer systems can be compromised in unlimited ways because hacking techniques are constantly evolving. In the previous video, we learned that businesses and organizations periodically run penetration tests to uncover vulnerabilities in their computer systems and prevent data theft. The penetration testing process is divided into 5 phases with specific objectives for each phase. The 5 phases are planning, discovery, attack, verification, cleanup, and reporting. Before initiating a penetration test, penetration testing teams collaborate with their clients to define the test scope. This activity is called the planning phase. During the planning phase, the testing team specifies which systems will be examined, the testing schedule, and the methodologies they will employ. The testing phase also establishes the extent of information that pen testers will have beforehand. The planning phase consists of black box testing, white box testing, and gray box testing. In a black box test, pen testers have no prior knowledge of the target system and must rely on their research to simulate an attack, much like an actual hacker would. In a white box test, pen testers receive full disclosure about the target system, including network diagrams, source codes, and credentials. Conversely, in a gray box test, pen testers are provided with limited information, such as IP ranges, and need to independently identify vulnerabilities within those ranges. The penetration discovery phase follows the planning phase. After determining the pen test scope, the testing team gathers data on the target system using various reconnaissance methods. For an application, this might involve analyzing its source code. For a network, tools like packet analyzers examine traffic flows. Pen testers may also utilize open source intelligence, or OSINT, to gain insights from public information sources. Pen testers identify vulnerabilities through the collected intelligence. Tools like port scanners can detect open ports, while social engineering tests might create a pretext for phishing attacks. During this phase, pen testers evaluate the response of security features to refine their attack strategies. Following discovery, pen testers initiate the attack phase. In the attack phase, pen testers execute attacks based on discovered vulnerabilities and the defined scope. These include SQL injections, cross-site scripting, denial of service attacks, social engineering, brute force attacks, and man-in-the-middle attacks. After exploiting an initial vulnerability, pen testers attempt to penetrate deeper into the system by moving laterally and escalating privileges, a process known as vulnerability chaining. For instance, capturing user credentials through a keylogger to infiltrate a sensitive database. Once the attacks are carried out, pen testers initiate the verification phase. During this phase, they verify the efficiency and impact of the exploited vulnerabilities. The testers assess the response of security measures and refine their techniques as needed to ensure they can bypass defenses effectively. The penetration cleanup and reporting phase are the final step of penetration testing. During this phase, pen testers remove any remnants of their activity in the verification phase, ensuring no traces, such as backdoors or altered configurations, remain. Subsequently, the pen testers compile a detailed report of identified vulnerabilities, exploitation methods, evasion techniques used, steps taken within the system, and recommendations for addressing the identified vulnerabilities. This report helps the client security team bolster its defenses against actual threats. To illustrate the penetration testing process, let's consider a hypothetical case study where a security firm conducts a penetration test on a gaming platform. The gaming company has tasked the security firm with finding vulnerabilities that could potentially compromise the platform and its users. The pen testers begin by planning their approach and gathering data. They analyze the platform's source code and use tools to inspect web traffic between the client and server. OSINT techniques uncover public information about the platform, such as employee details, that could be useful in social engineering attacks. Additionally, they scan the IP ranges provided and find several open ports, including one running an outdated Apache server version. Potential injection points in the platform's login functionality are also noted, which could be susceptible to SQL injection. With the first data gathered, the pen testers move on to the attack phase. They execute an SQL injection attack via the login feature, gaining unauthorized access to the user database, which holds sensitive player information. They also exploit the outdated Apache server to access the internal network, planting a keylogger to capture employee credentials. A simulated phishing campaign is launched to assess the employee's susceptibility to social engineering, revealing several weak spots. After gaining initial access, the team further assesses the security measures. Using the captured credentials, they log into the network with elevated privileges, moving laterally to access more sensitive areas, such as in-game transaction records and administrative functions. They chain vulnerabilities together, initially exploiting SQL injection to access credentials, and then using those credentials to infiltrate higher-value targets within the system. Upon concluding the test, the pen testers ensure they leave no traces by removing all planted keyloggers and restoring any altered configurations. They then compile a comprehensive report detailing all discovered vulnerabilities, the methods used for exploitation, the techniques for evasion, and the steps taken during the tests. The report also includes actionable recommendations for the gaming company's security team to enhance their defenses and mitigate the identified risks. By following these pen testing steps, the security firm provides the gaming company with valuable insights to bolster its platform's security, ensuring better protection against real-world cyber threats. In this video, you learn that penetration testers collaborate with their clients to define the test scope before initiating a test. This process is called the planning phase. Following the planning phase, pen testers conduct the discovery phase, attack phase, and the verification phase. The final phase of the penetration test is the cleanup and reporting phase. During the cleanup and reporting phase, pen testers remove any remnants of their activity in the verification phase and compile a detailed report of identified vulnerabilities, exploitation methods, evasion techniques used, and steps taken within the system, along with recommendations for addressing the identified vulnerabilities. The penetration case study of the gaming company illustrates the penetration testing process in detail. Welcome to this video about the penetration testing planning phase. After watching this video, you will be able to explain the pen testing planning phase, define the rules of engagement for a pen test. In the previous lesson, we learned that penetration testing is initiated in 5 phases: planning, discovery, attack, verification, and reporting. The planning phase is the first step of pen testing. It allows businesses and organizations to maximize the benefits of identifying and mitigating vulnerabilities in their computer systems and networks. The planning phase is defined by PIN test scope and rules of engagement. PIN test scope delineates the areas and systems that will be tested, while the rules of engagement define the protocols and methodologies that will be followed to safeguard against any potential disruptions during the testing process. Let's go a bit deeper into the planning process. PIN testing activities should be well-defined and include information about specific targets, systems, applications, and environments to be tested. This ensures focused assessment and avoids unintended disruptions. The PIN test scope determines the extent to which your assets will be evaluated. It is crucial to define the scope carefully to ensure that all critical systems and applications are included. The scope consists of 5 elements: scope specification, resource allocation, risk assessment, communication plan, legal and compliance considerations. Specifying the scope includes identifying which systems will be examined, the testing schedule, and the methodologies that the testers will employ. This step ensures that everyone involved has a clear understanding of the boundaries and limitations of the test. It also helps in avoiding any unintended disruptions to business operations. The scope should be specific enough to guide the testers, but flexible enough to adapt to any unforeseen circumstances that may arise during the test. Proper resource allocation is crucial for the success of a penetration test. This involves assigning internal and external personnel with the requisite ability to conduct the test. Additionally, deciding the necessary tools and software ensures that testers have the means to identify and exploit potential vulnerabilities effectively. Resource allocation also includes budgeting for any incidental costs during the test. Identifying potential risks associated with the test is another vital component of the planning phase. This step involves evaluating the possible adverse effects of a penetration test on the system's performance and overall business operations. You can minimize disruptions and promptly address any identified vulnerabilities by developing mitigation strategies. A clear communication plan is essential for maintaining transparency and coordination throughout the penetration test. This includes setting up regular update meetings, defining communication channels, and naming points of contact. A well-structured communication plan ensures that all stakeholders stay informed about the test progress and any immediate findings that require attention. Finally, addressing legal and compliance considerations is fundamental to the planning phase. This involves obtaining the necessary permissions and clearances to conduct the test and ensure compliance with relevant regulations and standards. Adhering to legal requirements protects the organization from potential liabilities and upholds the penetration test's integrity and credibility. The rules of engagement define the boundaries and limitations of a pen test, outlining what actions are allowed and prohibited. Establishing clear rules of engagement is vital to ensure transparency and prevent misunderstandings between testers and the organization. By setting clear expectations, organizations can ensure that the pen testers operate within legal and ethical boundaries. The rules of engagement have 8 components: scope definition, testing methods, timing and duration, authorized personnel, communication protocols, legal and ethical considerations, incident response plan, post-testing procedures. Scope definition clearly defines which systems, networks, applications, and assets are included in the pen test. This includes identifying critical infrastructure that requires thorough testing and any systems that are out of scope to avoid unintended disruptions. Testing methods specify the methodologies and tools used during the testing process. This can include techniques such as vulnerability scanning, social engineering, exploitation, and any custom scripts or tools the testers can use. Timing and duration establish a clear timeline for the pen test, including start and end dates and specific testing windows if necessary. This helps align the testing activities with the organization's operational schedules to minimize business disruptions. Authorized personnel identify the individuals permitted to conduct the pen test, detailing their roles and responsibilities. This ensures that only qualified and trusted personnel are involved, reducing the risk of unauthorized actions. Communication protocols define the communication channels and reporting frequency between the pen testers and the organization. Regular updates and a final report on findings and recommendations are essential for maintaining transparency and facilitating prompt remediation of identified vulnerabilities. Legal and ethical considerations ensure that all testing activities comply with relevant legal and regulatory requirements. The considerations outline the ethical guidelines that testers must adhere to, protecting the organization's data and ensuring privacy throughout the testing process. Incident Response Plan establishes protocols for managing incidents that may arise during the pen test. This includes steps for containment, mitigation, and notification to appropriate stakeholders to ensure issues are promptly addressed without escalating into more significant problems. Post-testing procedures outline the steps to be taken once the pen test is completed, including the debriefing sessions, data analysis, and implementation of remediation measures based on the findings. This ensures that the pen test results in actionable improvements to the organization's security posture. Clear rules of engagement are vital in the pen testing process for multiple reasons. First, they minimize potential conflicts and misunderstandings between the organization and the pen testers. Second, well-defined rules promote a collaborative and constructive approach toward enhancing an organization's security posture. Finally, having clear rules of engagement helps protect the organization from any unintended disruptions or damages during the testing process. Specifying the scope, timing, and authorized actors ensures the pen test is controlled and secure. In this video, you learn that the planning phase is defined by the pen test scope and rules of engagement. The pen test scope delineates the areas and systems that will be tested, while the rules of engagement define the protocols and methodologies that will be followed to safeguard against any potential disruptions during the testing process. Pen test scope comprises 5 elements: scope specification, resource allocation, risk assessment communication plan, and legal and compliance considerations. The rules of engagement have 8 components: scope definition, testing methods, timing and duration, authorized personnel, communication protocols, legal and ethical considerations, incident response plan, and post-testing procedures. Welcome to this video about penetration testing discovery phase. After watching this video, you will be able to define the pen testing discovery phase, explain passive reconnaissance, explain active reconnaissance. We learned that pen testers start collecting data about the target system after completing the planning phase. This process is called discovery. During the discovery phase, pen testers may analyze an application's source code, examine the network data traffic, or use open source intelligence, OSINT, to gain insights about the target system through public information networks. The gathered intelligence allows pen testers to identify vulnerabilities. Tools like port scanners can detect open ports, while social engineering tests might create a pretext for phishing attacks. The discovery phase can be broken down into passive and active reconnaissance. Passive reconnaissance is the technique of collecting information about a target system without directly interacting with it. It is the preferred technique of many hackers because it does not trigger any security alerts or defenses. You can initiate passive reconnaissance by using publicly available tools and information or social media profiling. Let's discuss these methods a bit more. By visiting and analyzing websites, you can gather valuable information about the organization's structure, technologies used, and potential vulnerabilities without direct interaction. Using tools such as WHOIS, you can look up domain registration details, including the registrant's contact information, which can help you understand the organization's digital footprint. Checking social media platforms can provide insights into employee roles, company culture, and public-facing information that might be used in a social engineering attack. Accessing public records, such as business filings and legal documents, can reveal detailed information about the organization's operations and key personnel. Job listings can show the technologies and systems in use and the skills the organization values, which may highlight potential areas of vulnerability. Taking part in or reading online discussions about the organization or its industry can uncover insider information, issues, and trends. Active reconnaissance is the technique of collecting information about a target system through direct interaction. While passive reconnaissance depends on publicly available data, active reconnaissance involves engaging with the target system through probing to identify vulnerabilities, open ports, services, or other useful information. It uses tools such as traceroute and packet sniffers. Active reconnaissance has a greater chance of being detected by security systems and can trigger alerts, firewalls, or other defenses. This makes it riskier compared to passive reconnaissance. Let's discuss active reconnaissance methods. Network mapping tools scan for live hosts, open ports, and public services. These tools, such as Nmap, allow pen testers to list active devices on the network, their services, and open ports, providing a detailed map of the network infrastructure. Ping sweeps and trace routes help pen testers identify potential security gaps. Ping sweeps can quickly show which IP addresses are in use, while trace routes show the path data takes across the network, revealing the structure of any potential bottlenecks or points of failure. Banner grabbing sends requests to open ports to gather information about the services and versions running on a host. This can provide insights into potential vulnerabilities associated with specific software versions. Packet sniffing tools like Wireshark can identify unencrypted traffic and sensitive information transmitted over the network. This method allows pen testers to analyze network traffic and detect insecure communication practices. Vulnerability scanners like Nessus or OpenVAS detect known vulnerabilities in hosts and services. These tools can automate finding weaknesses and provide detailed reports on potential security issues. DNS enumeration gathers information about domain names, IP addresses, and other DNS records associated with the target network. Tools like NSLOOKUP, DIG, and DNSEnum can help uncover subdomains and other valuable information. Social engineering techniques, such as phishing emails or phone calls, trick individuals into revealing sensitive information or granting access to restricted areas of the network. Dumpster diving finds valuable information, such as personal documents, passwords, and financial records in trash cans or discarded electronic devices. In this video, you learned that the discovery phase is crucial for gathering intelligence about the target system. This phase is divided into passive and active reconnaissance. Passive reconnaissance involves gathering information without direct interaction, such as browsing websites, assessing domain registrations, monitoring social media, reviewing public records, studying job postings, and exploring online forums. Active reconnaissance, by contrast, entails direct engagement with the target system. This includes using network mapping tools, ping sweeps, trace routes, banner grabbing, packet sniffing, vulnerability scanners, DNS enumeration, and social engineering tactics. Both approaches help pen testers find vulnerabilities and refine their attack strategies to effectively test the target system's security features. Welcome to this video about penetration testing attack phase. After watching this video, you will be able to define the pen testing attack phase, explain key actions of the attack phase. The pen testing planning and discovery phases prepare the ground for launching a simulated exploit on the target system. This phase of pen testing is called the attack phase. During the attack phase, pen testers employ sophisticated techniques to gain unauthorized access, elevate privileges, and extract sensitive information from the target system. The primary goal of this activity is to discover security weaknesses and evaluate the efficacy of existing security measures. Pen testers carefully document their findings during the attack phase and create a vulnerabilities report for their clients at the end of the phase. The vulnerabilities report provides actionable insights to their clients for bolstering their defenses against potential breaches. The key actions of the attack phase include running exploits, bypassing defenses, gaining elevated privileges, and initiating post-attack activities. Let's examine each of these attack phase actions in detail. To exploit vulnerabilities in the target system and identify the minimum access level necessary to breach the system, pen testers use tools such as Metasploit, Browser Exploitation Framework or BEEF, and SQL Map. Metasploit is a popular framework for developing, testing, and executing exploits against a target. It includes a large database of exploits and payloads. BEEF exploits vulnerabilities in web browsers. SQL Map is an automated tool for detecting and exploiting SQL injection vulnerabilities in web applications. During the attack phase, pen testers may find client defenses against network breaches and physical breaches. To bypass network defenses, the pen tester may use techniques like rotating proxies, the TOR network, and origin IP to gain a foothold of the client's computer system. A common method for bypassing physical security measures is lockpicking. Skilled pen testers can use this method to demonstrate how easily physical locks can be manipulated or bypassed. Another bypassing technique is radio frequency identification, RFID cloning, where testers clone RFID cards or badges to gain unauthorized access to secured areas. If the first two stages of the attack phase are successful and the pen tester has gained user-level access, the tester attempts to obtain administrator or system-wide privileges. An administrative access prevents the tester's account from being removed by the client's IT team. Subsequently, pen testers start exploring and collecting information to pinpoint systems and tools that can provide further control. Every time the testers uncover a new system or tool, they conduct another discovery phase to explore how to gain access and elevate their privileges until they can effectively browse the systems or tools. The goal of post-attack activities is to determine the value of the compromised system and maintain control of the system for later use. The system's value is determined by the sensitivity of the data stored on it and its significance in further compromising the target system. In this stage of the attack phase, pen testers identify and document sensitive data, configuration settings, communication channels, and relationships with other network devices that can be used to gain further access to the network and set up one or more methods of accessing the target system at a later time. While this process looks solid in theory, it doesn't delve into specific vulnerabilities. The National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, categorizes the vulnerabilities into 8 common groupings: misconfigurations, kernel flaws, insufficient input validation, symbolic link flaws, file descriptor errors, race conditions, buffer overflows, incorrect file and directory permissions. Misconfigurations occur when security settings are not correctly configured, often due to insecure default settings that are relatively easy to exploit. The kernel is the core of an operating system that enforces the security model. Kernel flaws jeopardize the entire system. Many applications fail to thoroughly validate user input. For instance, if a web application incorporates user input directly into a database query without filtering it, an attacker could perform an SQL injection by entering an SQL command instead of the expected value. A symbolic link, or SIM link, is a pointer to another file. If systems are careless with permissions granted to these links, a user could exploit this to access critical files. File descriptors are numbers used by the system to track files. If a privileged program inappropriately assigns a file descriptor, it can expose that file to risks. Race conditions occur when a process is privileged. An attacker can time their actions to exploit this privileged access while a program is still in that mode. Buffer overflow vulnerabilities arise when input isn't checked for adequate length. This can lead to arbitrary code being introduced and executed with high-level privileges, sometimes even administrative. Incorrect file and directory permissions can present serious vulnerabilities. These permissions dictate what access users and processes have. If poorly configured, they can allow unauthorized actions like accessing password files or altering trusted host lists. During the attack phase, pen testers employ sophisticated techniques to gain unauthorized access, elevate privileges, and extract sensitive information from the target system. In this video, you learn that the key actions of the attack phase include running exploits, bypassing defenses, gaining elevated privileges, and initiating post-attack activities. The goal of post-attack activities is to determine the value of the compromised system and maintain control of the system for later use. The system's value is determined by the sensitivity of the data stored on it and its significance in further compromising the target system. Welcome to this video about port scanning. After watching this video, you will be able to explain port scanning and describe the most commonly used scan types. We learned that pen testers use different types of tools and techniques to discover security weaknesses in computer systems. The heart of a computer system is the network. Any security vulnerability in the network severely compromises the computer system and its data. Pen testers use a software called Port Scanner to identify security vulnerabilities in the network. It helps them determine if the network ports in a target system are open, closed, or filtered. A popular port scanner for network discovery and auditing is Nmap or Network Mapper. Pen testers use Nmap to probe a network and obtain information on what services or applications are running on the target system. Let's learn a bit more about ports and then dive into types of scanning. A network port is a logical endpoint in a computer network where communication begins or ends. Ports are used to distinguish between different services or applications on the same device, allowing multiple types of data to be sent and received simultaneously. Think of ports as a parking spot for data waiting to be picked up or dropped off. When you run a port scanner, it attempts to determine the status of services running on a device. An open port means the device is ready to communicate, while a closed port says it's there but not available. If a port is filtered, it means that the port is blocked by a firewall. Ports between 0 and 1023 are reserved for well-known services managed by the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, or IANA. These ports are like the VIP sections for major technology players like Apple and Microsoft. For instance, Port 20 is where the File Transfer Protocol, or FTP, operates, and Port 22 is home to a secure shell, or SSH, used for secure logins and secure file transfers. Port 53 is used for DNS to translate domain names into IP addresses, while Port 80 handles standard HTTP traffic. Ports 1024 to 49151 are registered ports for various software applications, and ports 49152 to 65536 are dynamic or private ports that anyone can use. Now, let's learn about the common types of port scans. The ping scan is the simplest method for network discovery. It sends an ICMP echo request to the target devices and waits for a response. If a device is up and running, it replies with an echo reply. This is a quick way to identify devices on a network. For example, if you're a network administrator checking which servers are online before performing maintenance, a ping scan can quickly give you a list of active devices. Ping scans are easily detected by intrusion detection systems, or IDS, and many network environments ignore or block ICMP traffic. Therefore, ping scans may not always provide a complete picture of the network. The TCP half-open scan, also known as the SYN scan, sends a SYN packet to initiate a connection without fully completing the handshake. If the target responds with the SYN ACK, the port is open, but the connection is never finalized, leaving the host in a half-open state. This makes it less likely to be detected by intrusion detection systems. A common use case for this scan is when penetration testers want to identify open ports on a firewall without alerting the security system, allowing them to assess vulnerabilities discreetly. The TCP Connect scan initiates a TCP handshake and determines which TCP ports are open and accepting connections. During a TCP scan, the port scanner sends a TCP SYN or synchronized packet to the target port. If the port is open, the target responds with a SYN ACK, synchronized acknowledge packet. The scanner then completes the connection by sending an ACK, acknowledge packet, establishing a full TCP connection. If the port is closed, the target responds with an RST, reset packet, indicating that no connection will be established. When the scanner receives the response, it immediately sends an RST packet to terminate the connection and avoid consuming any resources of the target system. The UDP scan sends a User Datagram Protocol, or UDP packet, to the target port. The contents of this packet vary, but is often empty or contains protocol-specific data to provoke a response. If the port scanner does not receive a response from the target, the port is considered open or filtered. This is so because UDP does not require an acknowledgement, and packet loss or filtering by firewalls can also result in no response. Conversely, If the scanner receives an ICMP port unreachable, type 3 code 3 message, the port is considered closed. If the scanner receives other types of ICMP messages, such as host unreachable, the port is considered filtered. Pen testers use UDP scans to identify potential weaknesses in network configurations. A stealth or quiet scan is a type of network scan with minimal chances of detection by intrusion detection systems or firewalls. The goal of this activity is to scan the target system in stealth mode and avoid raising any alarms. Port scanners perform quiet scans at a very slow rate, sending packets infrequently to avoid detection by rate-limiting mechanisms. The intervals between packets are often randomized to avoid patterns that could be easily detected. Pen testers use a port scanner to identify security vulnerabilities in the network. It helps them determine the state of the network ports and what services or applications are running on the target system. Ports between 0 and 1023 are reserved for well-known services managed by the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, or IANA. The ping scan is the simplest method for network discovery. The SYN scan is used to identify open ports on a firewall without alerting the security system. The TCP Connect scan initiates a TCP handshake and determines which TCP ports are open and accepting connections. Pen testers use UDP scans to identify potential weaknesses in network configurations. Welcome to this video that discusses network protocol analyzers. After watching this video, you will be able to describe network protocol analyzers and explain the role of network protocol analyzers in network administration and penetration testing. You'll also be able to discuss the applications of Wireshark in network analysis and list packet capture file formats and their applications. Have you seen the control room at a busy airport? Imagine the criticality of the communication, each signal and data ensuring airplanes take off and land safely. Now imagine if you could gain insights into the communication and data flows between the airplanes, the control tower, and the ground crew to spot potential issues. This is exactly what network protocol analyzers, also called sniffers, packet analyzers, or traffic analyzers, do for computer networks. These tools capture data flowing through networks and help users monitor and track interactions between digital sources and destinations. For example, if information is sent from a server to a smartphone, these tools can be used to check whether the data is being sent securely, if there are any delays, and so on. Network analyzers can also be compared to surveillance systems in a store. They continually monitor and capture data moving through a network. In short, network protocol analyzers act as your eyes and ears, whether troubleshooting a slow network, safeguarding sensitive data, or enhancing performance. Next, let's explore how network protocol analyzers work and keep our digital infrastructure running smoothly. These tools operate at the Open Systems Interconnection, or OSI model's data link layer, allowing them to bypass some restrictions of higher layers. Similar to multi-screen surveillance systems, these network analyzers offer a view of all the data traveling across the wire. This enables network administrators and pen testers to see data packed within each packet and take informed actions. Now, let's dive into the practical applications of network protocol analyzers. Network administrators use these tools to monitor network performance and ensure secure and efficient data transmission. Network protocol analyzers also help diagnose issues like bottlenecks and unauthorized access, enabling administrators to mitigate them properly. On the other hand, pen testers use these analyzers to assess the security posture of a network, analyze traffic patterns, detect weak points, identify sensitive data that may be exposed during transmission, and curb malicious issues proactively. Next, let's learn about Wireshark, a popular network protocol analyzer. Wireshark is free and offers deep inspection of hundreds of consistently updated protocols. It has a user-friendly 3-pane packet browser running on multiple platforms, including Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and FreeBSD. Wireshark captures network traffic and decodes it into a format humans can read. It supports various capture file formats, compresses and decompresses capture files using gzip, collects live data from multiple media sources, and analyzes it offline. The captured data can be accessed through a graphical interface or the command line-based utility, T-Shark. In addition, Wireshark features powerful display filters and tools for analyzing Voice over Internet Protocol or VoIP traffic. Wireshark provides decryption support for several protocols, including Internet Protocol Security or IPsec, Kerberos, Simple Network Management Protocol version 3 or SNMPv3, Secure Socket Layer and Transport Layer Security or SSL and TLS, Wired Equivalent Piracy or WEP, and Wi-Fi Protected Access, WPA, and WPA2. Wireshark also offers customizable coloring rules for easier analysis and allows data to be exported in formats like XML, PostScript, CSV, and plain text. These features enable Wireshark to be used for monitoring conversations, evaluating traffic volume, observing traffic frequency, and gauging latency between different hops. Wireshark's versatility supports a wide range of tasks across various roles. It helps network administrators troubleshoot issues, security engineers identify vulnerabilities, quality assurance teams verify network performance, and developers debug protocol implementations. The significance of Wireshark lies in the data it captures. Packet capture, or PCAP, helps Wireshark monitor network traffic by intercepting and recording data packets traveling across a network. It helps diagnose network issues and enhance security. PCAP also helps users check bandwidth usage to identify rogue dynamic host configuration protocol, or DHCP servers, detect malware, troubleshoot domain name system or DNS issues, and support incident response or IR efforts. There are various PCAP file formats used in different scenarios. The traditional PCAP format was initially developed for Windows. While it's compatible with Wireshark, it is less commonly used today due to the rise of more advanced formats. PCAP is often found in legacy applications, where compatibility with older systems is necessary. The libpcap format is widely used in Unix-based systems, like Linux and Mac OS, for packet capture and analysis. It is the foundation for several network monitoring tools, enabling developers to create real-time applications that analyze network traffic. PCAP-NG, the next-generation format, has become the default for Wireshark. It captures and stores data more efficiently, supporting features like multiple interfaces and enhanced metadata, making it ideal for in-depth analysis of complex network environments. NPCAP is a format exclusively used by the network mapper tool, Nmap. It enables packet capture and allows users to run detailed network scans, making it invaluable for security assessments and network inventory. In this video, you learn that network protocol analyzers capture and analyze data packets, providing insights into network performance and security. These tools help network administrators diagnose issues and pen testers identify vulnerabilities. Wireshark is a tool for analyzing network traffic in real time and plays a critical role in solving network issues. And finally, you learned that Wireshark supports various file formats like libpcap, PCAP, PCAP-NG, and NPCAP for comprehensive packet capture and analysis. Welcome to this video on software and application pen testing. After watching this video, you'll be able to describe software and application pen testing and list the key steps for securing applications. You'll also review different types of application pen testing and explain common vulnerabilities and their mitigation strategies. You may have observed that high-security buildings like banks have guards, surveillance cameras, and restricted areas. To strengthen their defenses, banks hire security professionals who simulate break-ins and remedy vulnerabilities in the security system before a criminal can exploit them. Similarly, software and application penetration testing, or app pen testing, simulates cyber attacks in software applications and systems to identify and address vulnerabilities before exploitation. Let's explore how app pen testing proactively mitigates vulnerabilities and strengthens defenses through 4 key steps. The first step in securing applications is to identify weaknesses. Regular vulnerability assessments and penetration tests help uncover these weaknesses, allowing developers to address them before attackers do. The second step involves evaluating the security of the application's architecture, code, and deployment environment. This step includes reviewing design principles, conducting code reviews, and using static application security testing tools to uncover issues, such as hard-coded credentials or insecure application programming interfaces, APIs. It is also essential to assess server configurations and network security, ensuring proper firewall setups and access restrictions. Then, Step 3 focuses on compliance with industry standards and regulations, such as the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, in Europe, and the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA, in the United States. Now, compliance is not just about avoiding legal issues. It is crucial for maintaining trust and ensuring quality. Hence, it's essential to implement security controls with supporting documentation and regular audits to close compliance gaps. The final step involves minimizing the risk of unauthorized access by implementing robust authentication methods like multi-factor authentication, MFA, and encrypting data at multiple points to prevent interception. This step also involves regularly updating the application, educating employees on threats like phishing, and enforcing strict access controls to maintain defense. Now that you've learned the steps to secure an app, let's dive into the main types of app pen tests. Static application security tests, or SASTs, analyze source code or binaries without running the program. By reviewing the code early in the development cycle, developers can spot and fix vulnerabilities before they lead to security breaches. Next, dynamic application security tests, or DASTs, evaluate applications while they run. This method simulates real-world attacks to identify vulnerabilities that only appear during execution, like runtime or input validation errors. Interactive application security tests, or IASTs, on the other hand, combine SAST and DAST. It monitors the application during runtime while analyzing the source code, allowing for precise identification of vulnerabilities. Additionally, mobile application tests, or MAPS, focus on app security, addressing unique vulnerabilities like insecure data storage, poor session management, and weak authentication. Ensuring mobile apps meet security standards is critical for protecting sensitive user data. Finally, web application penetration tests, or WAP, simulate cyber attacks to identify security weaknesses, such as structured query language or SQL injection and cross-site scripting or XSS attacks. Here, pen testers mimic hacker tactics to help organizations strengthen their defenses against potential threats. In today's digital landscape, organizations perform robust testing to ensure application security and build user trust. Now that you have learned about the different types of app pen tests, let's examine some of the most common vulnerabilities you'll need to look out for when conducting them. Injection flaws are created when untrusted data is sent to an interpreter, potentially allowing attackers to manipulate queries or access sensitive data. For example, SQL injection enables attackers to exploit a database query to gain unauthorized access. Hence, developers should sanitize inputs and use prepared statements to avoid such flaws. Cross-site scripting or XSS vulnerabilities let attackers inject malicious scripts into web pages, resulting in the theft of session cookies or access to sensitive data. Hence, developers must validate and sanitize user input and use Content Security Policy, CSP headers, to limit the execution of untrusted scripts. Next, broken authentication results from improper protection of user credentials and session tokens, leading to unauthorized access. This type of vulnerability causes weak password policies and session management flaws to be exploited. Hence, it's best to implement MFA to minimize these risks. Another common vulnerability is sensitive data exposure, which occurs when sensitive information like personal or financial data is not adequately protected. Weak encryption or misconfigured servers can lead to data breaches, resulting in loss of customer trust. Hence, organizations should ensure sensitive data is encrypted in transit and at rest, and adopt strict data handling policies. Finally, security misconfigurations occur due to default settings or poorly configured security controls. They result in increased data exposure and unauthorized data access. Regular security audits and limiting data access by following the principle of least privilege can help identify and fix these issues. In this video, you learn that app pen testing simulates attacks to identify and fix vulnerabilities before they can be exploited. The key steps to ensure app security are identifying weaknesses, evaluating security, ensuring compliance, and reducing unauthorized access. The various types of app pen tests include SAST, DAST, IAST, MAPT, and WAPT. Common vulnerabilities that need testing are injection flaws, XSS, broken authentication, sensitive data exposure, and security misconfigurations. Welcome to this video on scanning code repositories. After watching this video, you will be able to explain how scanning code repositories enables rapid identification and remediation of issues, list the benefits of scanning code repositories, describe how to run a security scan in a code repository. First, let's understand what a repository is. A repository serves as a central hub for storing and managing data, files, or code. In software development, repositories contain the source code of applications, documentation, and other related materials. They help with version control, allow developers to collaborate, and organize project files. So what exactly is a code repository? That's right. It's a central location where code is stored and managed. For instance, think of it as a library for code. These repositories can be stored locally on a developer's computer or cloud platforms like GitHub or GitLab, making them accessible and secure while supporting efficient project management. Now, it's a practical approach to scan software, components, and dependencies within a code repository. This scanning is akin to librarians regularly checking the catalog to ensure all books are correctly listed and categorized and that the catalog is error-free. The scanning of code repositories enables developers to identify and address issues quickly. Scanning provides immediate feedback so developers can adjust their code before issues enter the main branch. This security process offers advantages like ease, speed, agility, automation, and adoption. Let's look at each of them in detail. A shift-left approach, which refers to moving tasks, like testing or security checks, to earlier stages in the software development process, allows for early scanning. As a result, the necessary changes or fixes are typically more minor and easier to handle. Instant feedback helps developers respond quickly and fix vulnerabilities. In addition, integrating security processes into workflows streamlines the process, allowing quicker actions without switching tools or learning new interfaces. Then, automating the scanning process improves ease, speed, and agility, allowing vulnerabilities to be prioritized and addressed efficiently without disrupting developer productivity. Finally, scanning directly within their repositories allows developers to handle security tasks in familiar settings, reducing the chance of neglecting security for productivity and encouraging adherence to best practices. Now that you know the benefits, let's explore various methods to run a security scan in a code repository. Tools like Snyk can significantly improve your project's security, as they find vulnerabilities in open-source dependencies and container images. You can quickly detect potential security issues by adding Snyk to your development workflow. Another approach is to use integrated development environments, IDEs. These tools often include built-in security scanning features or support for plugins that enhance security checks. IDEs also provide real-time feedback while coding, allowing security teams to address vulnerabilities before the code is committed to version control. However, to maintain a secure codebase, it is essential to review the reports generated by these tools regularly. Security teams can also perform manual scans using tools like the Open Web Application Security Project, OWASP, Dependency Check. This tool checks project dependencies for known vulnerabilities and provides insights into potential security risks. However, teams must conduct regular scans to identify issues that could compromise their applications. As systems become increasingly complex and cyber threats evolve, the need for regular assessments through penetration testing or pen testing becomes increasingly important. Hence, it is essential to integrate pen testing into repository scanning to further enhance security and safeguard software development processes. This integration involves the following steps. First, use automated tools found in GitHub to scan repositories for vulnerabilities in real time and identify issues in code dependencies and configurations. Next, incorporate pen testing tools like Metasploit or Burp Suite into the CI/CD pipeline. This setup simulates attacks on the codebase to identify potential security weaknesses before they occur. Organizations can conduct continuous security assessments by integrating pen testing into repository scanning and swiftly remediate identified vulnerabilities. Ultimately, they can significantly improve their security posture and ensure sensitive information and critical applications remain protected in a dynamic threat landscape. In this video, you learn that scanning code repositories allows developers to identify and resolve problems quickly. The advantages of scanning code repositories include ease, speed, agility, automation, and adoption. To run a security scan in a code repository, you could add Sneak to your development workflow, use IDEs, perform manual scans using OWASP dependency check, and integrate pen testing into repository scanning. Welcome to this video on the third phase of penetration testing, reporting. After watching this video, you'll be able to explain the significance of a pen testing report and outline the key sections of an effective report. You'll also learn to distribute these reports securely. Imagine you're a cybersecurity analyst who discovers a hidden vulnerability in your organization's high-stakes software during a penetration test. How will you share this critical information with decision-makers? That's right. You'll need to create a pen testing report to document your findings. The pen testing report is a detailed document that summarizes the findings, methods, and recommendations from a simulated cyber attack on an organization's systems and networks. It highlights the vulnerabilities and potential risks and offers a prioritized action plan to address these challenges. So how does a pen testing report benefit organizations? First and foremost, it helps organizations understand their security posture. It helps organizations strengthen their defenses, safeguard sensitive information, and ensure compliance with regulatory standards. In addition, a well-organized report helps foster transparency and accountability and promotes a culture of security awareness. These benefits make it crucial to tailor the pen testing report to diverse stakeholders, each with varying technical knowledge and information needs. Your key audiences will include C-suite executives, developers and technical staff, and third-party stakeholders. Let's look at their specific requirements. C-suite executives require a concise overview of the findings, highlighting the risks and strategic business implications. Developers and technical staff, however, require a more detailed analysis covering specific vulnerabilities, exploitation methods, and remediation steps. On the other hand, third-party stakeholders like partners or clients seek reassurance about the organization's security posture. They require a transparent account of the security measures and improvements made after the pen test. Next, let's dive into the nuances of writing an effective report. A pen testing report typically comprises 5 main sections, which cater to the needs of the stakeholders: executive summary, methodology and scope, findings, recommendations, conclusion, and appendix. Let's explore the contents of each section. The executive summary, which usually appears first, is the most crucial part of the report, as it is the section most stakeholders will read. This section is primarily meant for C-suite executives, senior leaders, board members, and external stakeholders who often have limited time and may not be familiar with the technical details. Here are a few key points to remember when scripting this section. Present key conclusions clearly for non-technical readers. Avoid going into the specifics of the pen testing process. Explain the findings in simple terms and relate the business risks in a way that resonates with executives. Be concise, aiming for 1 to 2 pages. Avoid jargon and filler content. And script this section last to effectively capture your findings and recommendations. Next is the methodology and scope section, which details the technical aspects of the testing. It explains the various types of testing performed, the tools used, and any essential observations. While it's important to include technical details in this section, avoid lengthy code snippets, scan reports, or overly detailed results, as they can make the report harder to read. If such details are necessary, consider placing them in the appendix and referencing them in the main section so interested readers can find the information without disrupting the report flow. The methodology and scope section is for technical staff and developers who will review the report and act on your findings. Further, a skilled security professional should be able to read this section and reproduce your findings. Hence, it's crucial to provide sufficient information and clearly outline your approach. The findings section comes next. This section details the vulnerabilities uncovered during the testing phase and should be structured logically, often by severity or type of vulnerability, allowing for easy navigation and comprehension. Each finding should clearly describe the vulnerability, its potential impact on the organization, and the specific conditions under which it can be exploited. In addition, to substantiate claims and enhance the report's credibility, include evidence gathered during testing, such as screenshots, logs, or references to relevant code. The next section in the pen testing report is recommendations. Each finding should ideally include actionable recommendations to help the technical team effectively address vulnerabilities. You can ensure that the security team focuses resources on the most pressing threats by prioritizing key findings and highlighting high-risk issues that could lead to significant breaches. However, remember to maintain a balanced tone and contextualize each finding within the broader landscape of the organization's security posture. Finally, the conclusion section highlights the importance of the findings and recommendations discussed throughout the report. It summarizes the key insights from the assessment and stresses the need to address vulnerabilities to improve the organization's security. The appendix provides additional documentation to support the main content, allowing technical staff to find essential information while keeping the main report accessible to non-technical stakeholders. Now that you've learned to write an effective pen testing report, you must know how to distribute it. These reports contain sensitive details about an organization's security. Hence, it is vital for anyone with access to the report to manage it with the utmost care. Reports should be transmitted and stored exclusively in encrypted formats. Physical copies must be secured in a locked environment, and digital and printed copies must be responsibly destroyed when no longer needed. Further, the pen testing agreement should define the report's retention period, after which it must be securely erased. When the report is ready, it is essential to secure formal client acceptance through a simple written acknowledgement. This handover often includes a face-to-face meeting where the testing team presents the engagement results to the business and technical leaders and addresses queries. Client acceptance signifies the conclusion of the engagement and serves as a formal agreement that the testers have satisfactorily fulfilled the agreed-upon scope of work. In this video, you learned that a pen testing report provides a clear and comprehensive overview of the vulnerabilities identified and their potential impact on the organization. It helps organizations strengthen defenses, safeguard sensitive information, and ensure compliance with regulatory standards. An effective report comprises 5 main sections: executive summary, methodology and scope, findings, recommendations, and conclusion and appendix. Finally, you learned that pen testing reports contain sensitive details about an organization's security and must be handled carefully. Welcome to this video on Threat Hunting Overview. After watching this video, you'll become familiar with threat hunting and how it safeguards an organization against hidden threats. This video will look at how threat hunting works and reduces the time it takes to identify intrusions. You will also learn about the 3 hunting types that help threat hunters investigate potential risks. Finally, this video looks at the different threat hunting models that help organizations proactively approach cybersecurity. Picture a cyber vigilante patrolling the internet and protecting your network from hidden threats. Threat hunters perform this crucial role, safeguarding your organization's network from ongoing or previously unnoticed threats. Threat hunting, or cyber threat hunting, is a proactive strategy for detecting and eliminating hidden threats that have outsmarted traditional security protocols. It involves skilled professionals actively searching for malicious activity in an organization's network, often going beyond the scope of automated security tools. Cybersecurity analysts form a primary defense barrier in cybersecurity. Together with automated security tools, these analysts can manage around 80% of an organization's threats. The remaining 20% can trigger extensive damage. These sophisticated threats can evade detection for an average of 280 days. Threat hunting is critical because it actively seeks and neutralizes these sophisticated threats. Threat hunters are skilled professionals who can significantly reduce an organization's exposure to advanced cyber threats. Threat hunting is inherently proactive. The focus is on preventing attacks before they can happen and reducing or eliminating the potential damage caused by threats. Attackers often linger for weeks or months before being detected, extracting sensitive data and gathering confidential credentials for further access. These actions lead to significant data breaches that cost organizations millions of dollars. The repercussions of these attacks can last years. An organization cannot afford to be unaware of breaches, and delayed responses can result in significant monetary loss and operational distress. Two factors contribute to a successful threat hunting program. The first factor is the organization's security system, which collects critical data to provide insights for threat hunters. The second factor is the human touch provided by skilled IT analysts, tasked with proactively identifying and neutralizing threats. These analysts are typically from the organization's IT department, although external experts may also be brought in. Threat hunters go beyond traditional security measures such as security information and event management, SIEM, and endpoint detection and response, EDR. They screen security data to detect intruders, malware, or suspicious behavior that automated systems might overlook. The proactive approach of threat hunters helps prevent similar threats in the future. Threat hunters launch their cyber investigations based on hypotheses derived from specific triggers. This could include suspicious login attempts or unusual network traffic patterns. These triggers are indicators of malicious activity and serve as a springboard for a deeper investigation into potential risks. These investigations can be categorized into 3 types: structured, unstructured, and situational hunting. Structured hunting targets indicators of attack, IOA, and the tactics, techniques, and procedures, TTPs, used by attackers. TTPs help hunters identify potential threats and prevent damage to an organization's assets. This hunting approach often uses MITRE adversary tactics techniques and common knowledge attack framework, a comprehensive resource that categorizes the TTPs used by attackers. The MITRE attack framework is divided into 2 parts. 1. Pre-attack, which focuses on the preparatory stages of an attack. 2. Enterprise focuses on the tactics used during an attack and includes how attackers access an organization's network. Unstructured hunting begins when there is at least one indicator of compromise, IOC. Threat hunters use data and past incidents to investigate patterns before and after threat detection. This method takes a reactive approach to addressing security breaches. Situational hunting relies on an internal risk assessment of the organization or an analysis of trends specific to the IT environment. Insights driven by entity-oriented data often stem from crowdsourced attack intelligence, revealing the latest TTPs linked to emerging cyber threats. This data helps threat hunters identify and investigate behaviors that may damage the organization's network. The different threat hunting models can help organizations proactively approach cybersecurity. Each model comes equipped with a distinct framework for detecting and managing risks. These models help security teams customize their strategies according to the organization's specific security needs. These models strengthen cybersecurity efforts and build a more resilient defense against emerging threats. This model operates reactively, utilizing IOC sourced from threat intelligence. Hunts are driven by predefined rules within the SIEM system. IOCs such as IP addresses, hash values, domain names, and host artifacts are often provided by intelligence sharing platforms like Computer Emergency Response Teams, CERTs. These alerts are integrated into the SIEM using structured format like Structured Threat Information, STIX, and Trusted Automated Exchange of Intelligence Information, TAXI. Once integrated, threat hunters analyze the network for malicious activities that may have occurred before or after the alert to determine if a compromise has taken place. Hypothesis hunting is a proactive model that relies on a library of threat hunting techniques based on the MITRE attack framework. This model uses global detection playbooks to reveal sophisticated threats and malware incidents. Hunters focus on IOAs and TTPs used by adversaries. By analyzing the environment and potential attack methods, they develop hypotheses based on the MITRE framework. Once suspicious activity is detected, hunters analyze behavior patterns to identify and isolate threats, enabling early detection of adversarial actors before significant harm occurs. Custom hunting uses situational awareness and tailored strategies to identify anomalies within SIEM and EDR tools. These hunts work based on specific requirements or are conducted proactively in response to geopolitical events or targeted attacks. Custom hunting combines intel-based and hypothesis-driven hunting to effectively utilize IOA and IOC insights to strengthen the overall security posture. In this video, you learn to recognize the importance of threat hunting and its role beyond the scope of automated security tools. Realize the danger of undetected threats and its consequences to an organization. Identify the two factors that contribute to a successful threat hunting program: a security system and a human touch. Identify how threat hunting works to detect intruders, malware, or suspicious behavior while helping prevent similar threats in the future. Recognize threat hunting types, including structured, unstructured, and situational hunting. Recognize the different threat hunting models, including intel-based, hypothesis, and custom hunting. Welcome to this video on Threat Intelligence Overview. After watching this video, you will gain insights into threat intelligence and its role in providing information on threats to organizational security. This video examines the differences between threat intelligence and threat hunting to help you create advanced security strategies. You will also look at the benefits of threat intelligence and how you can leverage it to stay ahead of evolving cyber threats. Finally, this video will cover the different threat intelligence categories to support various responses and decision-making levels. Threat intelligence is like a weather forecast for cyber attacks, providing critical information on current or emerging threats to organizational security. Threat intelligence involves analysts gathering, analyzing, and sharing data on threat actors and their tactics, techniques, and procedures, or TTPs. Threat intelligence also exposes system vulnerabilities that threat actors can exploit, helping organizations take a proactive security posture to safeguard assets. Threat intelligence and threat hunting are essential components of a comprehensive cybersecurity strategy, each serving specific objectives. Threat intelligence provides valuable insights into the broader threat landscape, offering context for creating advanced security strategies. In contrast, threat hunting leverages threat intelligence to eliminate potential threats in an organization. Threat intelligence is typically more passive, focusing on data collection and analysis. Threat hunting is a proactive process that requires continuous, real-time monitoring and investigation to track and prevent threats as they arise. The first benefit is the efficient allocation of cybersecurity resources. Organizations can analyze relevant threat intelligence and strategically allocate resources to reduce the likelihood and impact of cyber attacks. Threat intelligence also provides a critical understanding of the tactics used by potential threat actors. It helps organizations strengthen their defenses in anticipation of security threats. Threat intelligence allows businesses to take a proactive approach. It helps them to identify and address threats before they damage assets. Another highlight of threat intelligence is enhanced incident response times. This allows for quicker threat detection and targeted security actions while guiding recovery strategies. Finally, threat intelligence helps identify the most likely and severe threats and assists organizations in creating focused risk management strategies. Threat intelligence is divided into 4 categories. Each offers a holistic approach to addressing immediate and long-term threats. These categories support various levels of responses and decision-making in an organization's cybersecurity framework. The 4 categories are 1. Tactical, 2. Operational, 3. Strategic, 4. Technical. Tactical threat intelligence focuses on the tactics used by threat actors, providing insights into immediate threats such as newly discovered phishing schemes or malware. Analyzing these tactics helps organizations to adapt their security protocols to defend against evolving threats. Operational threat intelligence analyzes the TTPs of threat actors, offering a detailed understanding of cyber threats. It helps organizations anticipate attacks by providing valuable context about the threat actors' attack patterns and past actions. Strategic threat intelligence provides a broader perspective of long-term trends and emerging threats in cybersecurity. It helps organizations recognize how technology shifts or geopolitical events could influence cyber attacks. This helps in making informed decisions on resource allocation and long-term strategies. Technical threat intelligence is highly data-driven, providing information on malicious indicators. Security systems leverage technical threat intelligence to identify and neutralize threats quickly and reduce the risk of cybercriminal activity. In this video, you learn to recognize the importance of threat intelligence and how it provides information on threats to organizational security. Realize that threat intelligence and threat hunting are essential components of a comprehensive cybersecurity strategy. Examine the differences between threat intelligence and threat hunting to understand each other's roles. Analyze the benefits of threat intelligence to leverage its capabilities. Examine threat intelligence categories, including tactical, operational, strategic, and technical, to understand their holistic approaches to threats. Welcome to this video on Security Information and Event Management, or SIEM. After watching this video, you'll be able to describe Security Information and Event Management, or SIEM, and explain its evolution. You'll also be able to list standard SIEM functions and review their benefits. Have you ever received an alert about a natural disaster that prompted you to move to safety? How do you think the weather department predicts these events? Weather monitoring systems collect data from multiple sources, such as temperature, wind speed, and humidity. Each sensor by itself provides valuable yet limited information. However, when all the data is collected and analyzed, it helps predict and raise an alert for weather-associated disasters. That's precisely how Security Information and Event Management, or SIEM, solutions work. Now, let's dive deeply into SIEM solutions and how they work. SIEM solutions are software systems designed to assist organizations in identifying and mitigating potential threats and vulnerabilities that could disrupt business activities. They enable enterprise security teams to detect unusual user behaviors and leverage artificial intelligence, or AI, to streamline numerous manual tasks related to threat detection and incident response, or IR. Now, let's see the evolution of SIEM solutions. Early SIEM solutions primarily functioned as log management tools that merged Security Information Management, or SIM, and Security Event Management, or SEM, capabilities. These tools monitored and analyzed security-related activities in real time while supporting the tracking and logging of security data for compliance and auditing needs. The term SIEM was introduced by Gartner in 2005 to describe the integration of SIM and SEM technologies. Over time, this platform evolved to incorporate user and entity behavior analytics, or UEBA, enhanced security analytics, AI, and machine learning to detect unusual behaviors and sophisticated threats. Today, SIEM plays a crucial role in modern security operations centers, or SOCs, for effective security monitoring and compliance management. Next, let's see what the functions of SIEM solutions are. SIEM solutions aggregate, consolidate, and sort data to detect threats and fulfill compliance mandates. While different solutions have unique features, most offer a set of core functions. Let's explore the core functions of SIEM solutions. Log management is the core of SIEM solutions. These solutions gather event data across the organization's infrastructure, including on-premises and cloud environments. They correlate and analyze log data from users, endpoints, applications, data sources, cloud workloads, and networks. They also pull real-time information from security tools like firewalls and antivirus software. Some SIEM solutions even connect with third-party threat intelligence feeds. This means they can cross-reference internal security data with known threat signatures and profiles, allowing teams to block attack vectors quickly. SIEM solutions also offer event correlation and analytics. Using sophisticated analytics to uncover and comprehend complex data patterns, SIEM solutions provide valuable insights that facilitate the rapid identification and resolution of potential security threats. SIEM solutions enhance the mean time to detect, or MTTD, and the mean time to respond, or MTTR, for security teams by easing the manual processes tied to in-depth security event analysis. Incident monitoring and security alerts are critical in SIEM solutions. Analytical outcomes are collated in a unified dashboard where security teams oversee activity, manage alerts, detect threats, and trigger response or remediation. Most SIEM dashboards feature real-time data visualizations, aiding in identifying unusual spikes or trends in suspicious activity. Administrators can set up customizable, predefined correlation rules to receive instant alerts, enabling them to take necessary actions to prevent potential security breaches from escalating. Ensuring compliance management and reporting are cornerstone functions of SIEM solutions, and they serve as tools for assembling and verifying organizational compliance data. Many SIEM solutions can automatically generate real-time compliance reports for specific standards, alleviating the security management workload and facilitating early detection of potential violations for timely resolution. Now that you've learned the critical functions of SIEM solutions, let's explore their benefits. SIEM solutions enable centralized compliance auditing and reporting across the business, ensuring real-time threat recognition. They automate the collection and analysis of system logs and security events, reducing internal resource usage while ensuring compliance with reporting standards. Next, SIEM solutions integrate with advanced security orchestration, automation, and response, or SOAR systems, enabling AI-driven automation that saves security teams time and resources. What's more, they enhance visibility and improve communication and collaboration across departments through a central dashboard that consolidates data, alerts, and notifications, ensuring a swift and coordinated threat response. Equipped to handle known and unknown security threats, SIEM solutions use integrated threat intelligence feeds and artificial intelligence to identify various threats, including insider threats, phishing attacks, ransomware, distributed denial of service or DDoS attacks, and data exfiltration. Post-incident SIEM solutions facilitate thorough log data analysis to investigate suspicious activities and facilitate forensic investigations effectively. SIEM solutions ease compliance management by providing real-time audits and on-demand reporting, helping you stay ahead of regulatory requirements. They also enhance visibility across remote workers, software as a service or SaaS applications, and bring your own device or BYOD policies, tracking network activity to detect threats regardless of where your digital assets are accessed. In this video, you learn that SIEM solutions help organizations identify and mitigate threats and vulnerabilities. SIEM solutions' essential functions are log management, event correlation and analytics, incident monitoring and security alerts, and compliance management and reporting. Finally, you learn that the benefits of SIEM solutions include real-time threat recognition, advanced and AI-driven automation, and improved organizational efficiency. Other benefits also include the detection of advanced and unknown threats, facilitation of forensic investigations, easing compliance assessment and reporting, and monitoring of users and applications. Welcome to this video on AI in threat intelligence and threat hunting. After watching this video, you'll be able to describe AI's role in threat intelligence and threat hunting, illustrate AI's benefits in mitigating threats, and discuss AI's challenges and limitations in detecting and overcoming threats. Imagine a multinational organization's security team monitoring a sea of data. They need to scan online forums, the company's social media handles, and data repositories, all in real time. Conventional methods could be effective, but may miss some dangerous threats. AI and machine learning, on the other hand, are like leveraging a sonar, detecting any patterns and even subtle anomalies to make sure no threat slips through unnoticed. Threat intelligence involves gathering and analyzing data to predict threat patterns. AI handles vast amounts of data from sources like threat feeds and social media, identifying unusual behaviors that traditional methods may miss. Machine learning, or ML, is a subsect of AI that helps spot abnormal activity and emerging threats that conventional methods may miss. It is crucial because the cyber threat landscape constantly changes, and attackers use increasingly sophisticated techniques. AI enhances threat intelligence through predictive analytics by analyzing historical data to identify trends indicating future attacks. For example, AI can detect indicators of compromise, IOCs, from past incidents, allowing organizations to combat vulnerabilities proactively. Natural language processing, or NLP, is another subset of AI that analyzes unstructured data like reports and social media posts. Using NLP, AI can summarize findings and extract relevant information, helping organizations scan forums for mentions of specific attacks and stay informed about new threats. Let's consider the application of AI in threat intelligence. A financial institution uses AI to analyze transaction logs and monitor user behavior. AI detects unusual login patterns, alerts the security team, and helps prevent a coordinated attack by providing details on the threat's severity and origin. In this case, AI improved response time and prevented attacks much earlier than traditional threat hunting methods. Now, let's explore the use of AI in threat hunting. Threat hunting involves actively scanning networks and searching for threats. In contrast to traditional methods that are time-consuming and prone to errors, AI automates the analysis of network traffic, user behaviors, and system logs at scale, spotting anomalies that may indicate malicious activity. The benefits of AI in threat hunting are enormous. Firstly, AI integrates data from multiple sources, such as endpoints and network traffic, providing a comprehensive view of security and enabling better decision-making. Next, AI models continuously leverage historical data from previous threat hunting activities, refining their detection abilities. Unsupervised learning helps uncover new attack methods by recognizing abnormal patterns, making threat hunting more effective. While AI does indeed have multiple advantages, it also poses challenges. Being aware of these challenges is critical in informed decision-making. AI models require high-quality data and may be biased, leading to inaccurate results. Additionally, attackers may use AI to develop more sophisticated threats. Therefore, AI should be part of a broader security strategy that includes human oversight. AI's use in cybersecurity raises data privacy concerns. Robust frameworks are required to protect information, and a proactive approach must be taken to address new security challenges, such as advanced disinformation campaigns. AI and its rapid adoption are expected to address significant skill shortages and create new job roles, such as prompt engineering. However, this brings new challenges, including the need for robust data privacy protections and the adoption of security practices. Organizations must navigate these challenges while embracing AI's opportunities to enhance their cybersecurity strategies. In this video, you learn that AI enhances threat intelligence by processing large data sets, detecting unusual behaviors, and forecasting attacks using predictive analytics. AI improves threat hunting by automating network traffic analysis, user behavior, and system logs, offering a comprehensive security view and better anomaly detection. AI benefits include integrating data from various sources, refining detection with historical data, and discovering new attack methods through unsupervised learning. Challenges include the need for high-quality data potential biases in AI models and privacy concerns. Attackers might also use AI to create more sophisticated threats. Despite these challenges, AI helps address skill shortages and generates new job roles. Welcome to this video on Threat Intelligence Framework Overview. After watching this video, you will realize the importance of cyber threat intelligence frameworks and how they are used to manage potential cyber threats. You will be introduced to the key elements of cyber threat intelligence frameworks for building robust cybersecurity strategies. The video also examines the key components for building a comprehensive approach to cyber threats. Finally, the video covers the cyber kill chain and the diamond model of intrusion analysis. A cyber threat intelligence (CTI) framework is like a weather station equipped with processes, tools, and practices that help organizations respond to looming storms in the cyber landscape. It helps gather, investigate, and act based on data on potential cyber threats. CTI frameworks facilitate a proactive approach to cybersecurity, helping organizations detect and minimize risks before any damage occurs. CTI frameworks provide insights into how threat actors think, revealing the techniques they employ through different stages of an attack. These insights offer organizations access to attack patterns that help to develop foolproof defenses as part of a counteracting mechanism. CTI frameworks have essential elements such as intelligence gathering, real-time data analysis, and adaptability, making them indispensable for creating robust cybersecurity strategies. Organizations can use these components to manage evolving threats and protect assets. A comprehensive approach can be achieved with the implementation of a CTI framework. It ensures a structured approach for collecting, managing, and responding to threat data. Let's look at the key components that enhance an organization's cybersecurity posture. Introduce methods for gathering threat data from open-source intelligence, internal security logs, and dark web surveillance. Integrating diverse data sources helps organizations adopt a more proactive security approach. Leverage advanced analytical tools to identify patterns and potential organizational threats. These tools enhance an organization's ability to anticipate and mitigate risks. Partner with industry peers and information-sharing organizations to boost situational awareness and defense strategies. These partnerships broaden the scope of threat detection and build a unified approach to tackling potential threats. Develop a systematic response plan to establish protocols for identifying and managing threats. An effective plan ensures better communication between security stakeholders, helping boost overall response efficiency. Regular reviews and revisions of the CTI framework will help to keep it relevant in evolving threat landscapes. The framework can be infused with insights from past incidents to better prepare for future challenges. The cyber kill chain is a framework that helps deconstruct the lifecycle of a cyber attack into 7 distinct phases. The framework developed by Lockheed Martin helps identify and disrupt cyber attacks effectively. It is a key component of the intelligence-driven defense model, which lists the sequential steps threat actors must take to achieve their goals. Since threat actors must navigate through all phases for a successful breach, any intervention can disrupt their attacks. Let's look at the 7 phases in the cyber kill chain. 1. The first phase is reconnaissance, where the attacker collects detailed information about the target to identify vulnerabilities. 2. Weapons, such as malware, are created or selected in the weaponization phase to exploit identified vulnerabilities. 3. The third phase is delivery, in which the attacker delivers the weapon to the target through email attachments, infected downloads, or USB devices. 4. The next phase is exploitation, when the malicious code is activated on the target system to gain unauthorized access. 5. In the installation phase, malware is installed on the target system to gain control and establish a presence in the organization. 6. The command and control phase witnesses the attacker establishing a communication channel with the target system to give commands or receive data. 7. The final phase is when the attacker performs intended actions, such as system damage or data theft. The Diamond model of intrusion analysis first appeared in a 2013 report for the U.S. Department of Defense. This model helps organizations identify specific threat actors and their tactics to improve incident report times. The Diamond model of intrusion analysis features 4 distinct elements that offer insights into the dynamics of cyber incidents. 1. An adversary is the entity behind an attack. Understanding their motivations can help organizations predict and prepare security countermeasures. 2. Infrastructure refers to the technical resources used to carry out attacks. These include domains, servers, and IP addresses. Mapping infrastructure to threat actors can help disrupt their activities. 3. Capability refers to the tools and techniques used during an attack, such as social engineering or malware. Access to an attacker's capabilities will help an organization create better defense strategies and response plans. 4. A victim is an entity targeted by a cyber attack. A glimpse into past incidents and victim characteristics can help organizations display resilience while implementing measures against similar threats in the future. Let's look at the relationship between each element in the Diamond model of intrusion analysis to leverage the model better. Adversary Victim examines how threat actors choose their victims. It will help you understand why certain victims were chosen. In most cases, the motives are stealing money, power, or data. Next is Adversary Infrastructure, which examines the resources and tools used to perform attacks. This will help you better understand how attackers use servers, software, and networks to access an organization's assets. The third relationship is Victim Infrastructure, which focuses on attackers using system flaws and network weaknesses to attack victims. Knowing the connection between victims and infrastructure can help eliminate potential security gaps in an organization. The final relationship is Victim Capability, which analyzes the victim's relationship with the attacker's tools and methods. It focuses on the approach used to attack the victim. In this video, you learn to recognize the importance of CTI frameworks and how they help gather and investigate data on potential cyber threats. Deploy the key components of CTI frameworks, such as data collection, threat analysis, and threat sharing, to create a comprehensive approach to cyber threats. Use the cyber kill chain and its 7 phases to disrupt cyber attacks. Deploy the diamond model of intrusion analysis and understand the relationships between its 4 distinct elements. Welcome to this video on the importance of cryptography. After watching this video, you'll be able to describe the fundamentals of cryptography and explain its role in ensuring data confidentiality. You'll also be able to illustrate how cryptography maintains data integrity and explain how it simultaneously guarantees data privacy and accuracy. Imagine you have a personal locker where you store your valuables. The only thing that can open this locker is its unique key. Cryptography works in the same way, as it locks data with a unique key, making its contents inaccessible to those without the key. In an increasingly digital world, sensitive data is at risk of theft, tampering, or exposure. Cryptography keeps your data secure and protected, like your valuables in the locker. Now let's explore cryptography and the role it plays in cybersecurity. Cryptography is the process of securing information by changing it into a code that only authorized people can interpret. It uses encryption to lock the data and decryption to unlock it, ensuring that sensitive information can be sent safely over networks or stored securely in databases. Cryptography addresses 2 main aspects of cybersecurity: data confidentiality and data integrity. Let's now see how cryptography plays a critical role in data confidentiality. Data confidentiality ensures that only authorized individuals access specific information. Cryptography maintains this confidentiality by encrypting data, transforming it into an unreadable format for anyone who lacks the proper decryption key. This process prevents unauthorized access to personal information, intellectual property, financial data, and other sensitive data. Now let's see why data confidentiality is essential. In many industries, ensuring data confidentiality is a legal and ethical requirement. Organizations are often bound by regulations such as the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA, and Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, or PCI DSS, which mandate the protection of sensitive personal data. Encryption helps organizations meet these regulatory requirements and avoid legal repercussions in the event of a data breach. Data confidentiality is critical in various areas. For instance, in financial transactions, it protects sensitive information such as credit card details and bank data during online exchanges. In healthcare, it guarantees that patient records and medical information remain private and inaccessible to unauthorized individuals. Additionally, in corporate security, data confidentiality is essential for safeguarding proprietary business information, trade secrets, and intellectual property from competitors and hackers. So how does cryptography ensure confidentiality? Cryptography ensures confidentiality by encrypting readable data or plaintext into an unreadable format known as ciphertext. Only the correct decryption key can restore it to its original form. Thus, even if intercepted, the data remains unreadable without the key. Common encryption methods include the Advanced Encryption Standard, or AES, a fast and secure symmetric algorithm for extensive data, and Revis-Shamir-Adleman, or RSA, an asymmetric algorithm for secure vital exchanges and digital signatures. Although not an encryption method, Transport Layer Security, or TLS protocol, uses cryptography to protect data during transmission, ensuring secure web browsing and email communication. Now let us explore the role of cryptography in data integrity. Imagine an organization sending encrypted financial reports to all its stakeholders. If the report is changed by a hacker en route, the data integrity mechanisms, such as hash functions, will detect this tampering, safeguarding trust and security in communication. Data integrity ensures that data remains accurate, consistent, and unaltered during storage and transmission. Cryptography plays a crucial role in maintaining data integrity by preventing unauthorized modifications to data and detecting any tampering that may occur. Ensuring data integrity is vital for maintaining trust in digital systems. Unauthorized changes can lead to financial losses, reputational damage, or poor decisions. Cryptography helps prevent and detect such alterations by verifying that the data remains unchanged. For instance, if a financial institution's database is compromised and account balances are altered, it could result in incorrect transactions and loss of trust. However, data integrity protects both the organization and its clients. Keeping data private and unchanged is crucial for security. Cryptography addresses this by encrypting data and using integrity checks to detect alterations. For example, when browsing the internet, encryption protects your data, while digital certificates and message authentication codes ensure that they remain unmodified. In digital payments, cryptography secures transaction details and verifies the authenticity of both parties, providing accurate and secure payments. Data integrity is ensured through hashing and digital signatures. Hashing converts data into a fixed-size output called a hash value that is unique to the original. Even small changes in the data create a different hash, allowing the detection of alterations. Digital signatures verify authenticity and prevent tampering. A hash is encrypted with the sender's private key, and the recipient decrypts it using the public key. If the decrypted hash matches the original, the data is confirmed as authentic and unchanged. In this video, you learn that cryptography secures information by converting it into a format accessible only to authorized users. In cryptography, encryption ensures data confidentiality, whereas techniques such as hashing and digital signatures ensure data integrity. Welcome to this video on symmetric and asymmetric encryption. After watching this video, you'll be able to define symmetric and asymmetric encryption and explain their role in securing data. You will also be able to describe the Advanced Encryption Standard, AES, and Revis-Shamir-Adleman, RSA, algorithm, and elaborate on their modes of operation. Imagine if your most private data or conversations could be intercepted and accessed or read by anyone. Scary, isn't it? Symmetric and asymmetric encryption are the digital locks that protect your data. It's like an invisible shield safeguarding your online identity, financial transactions, and personal communications. Symmetric encryption is like a vault, where the same key locks and unlocks it. Similarly, one key is used to encrypt and decrypt data. Asymmetric encryption is similar to a mailbox where anyone can drop letters in, but only the owner with the key can open it. Similarly, a public key encrypts the data, while a private key decrypts it. Let's now dive deep into symmetric encryption. So how does symmetric encryption work? In symmetric encryption, the sender uses a secret key to encrypt data or plain text into ciphertext, which is then transmitted or stored. The receiver uses the same key to decrypt the ciphertext into the original data. Symmetric encryption is quick and efficient, making it critical for encrypting large volumes of data with low computational overhead. It is also highly secure and resistant to brute force attacks. The main challenge is securely sharing the secret key between sender and recipient, which can be a significant bottleneck in ensuring data security. Advanced Encryption Standard, or AES, is one of the most common symmetric encryption algorithms used in Wi-Fi, file, and disk encryption. In AES, data is split into 128-bit blocks. Each block undergoes several rounds of processing, 10 rounds for 128-bit keys, 12 for 192-bit keys, and 14 for 256-bit keys, where it is substituted, permuted, and mixed. Finally, the process blocks are combined to create the ciphertext. Now let's explore asymmetric encryption. Asymmetric encryption, also known as public key encryption, uses a pair of keys. A public key encrypts data, and a private key decrypts it. This method is effective for secure data exchange over untrusted networks, as the public key can be shared openly while the private key remains confidential. Asymmetric encryption simplifies key distribution since the public key can be shared openly. It also supports authentication through digital signatures, verifying the sender's identity and ensuring message integrity. Although asymmetric encryption is secure, it also has challenges. It is generally slower and more resource-intensive than symmetric encryption. Managing and protecting the private key is crucial, and if compromised, can undermine the entire encryption system. Reverse Shamir Adelman, or RSA, is an asymmetric encryption algorithm. It employs 2048 bits or larger key sizes, providing strong security but requiring more computational power. The algorithm is based on factoring large composite numbers, with security increasing as the key size grows. RSA works by selecting two large prime numbers, and their product is used in both the public and private keys. The public key is used to encrypt plain text messages, while the private key, kept secret by the recipient, decrypts the ciphertext. RSA is extensively used in secure web communications, including key exchange in transport layer security, or TLS, digital signatures, and email encryption. Symmetric and asymmetric encryption both secure data but have distinct differences that make them suitable for different purposes. Symmetric encryption, such as AES, uses a single key for encryption and decryption, making it faster and more efficient for encrypting large datasets. It typically employs key sizes of 128, 192, or 256 bits, and is ideal for applications like bulk data encryption, VPNs, and disk encryption. In contrast, asymmetric encryption, like RSA, uses two keys, making it slower and more computationally intensive. RSA generally uses key sizes of 2048 bits or higher and excels in secure key exchange, digital signatures, and email encryption. While symmetric encryption faces challenges with key distribution, asymmetric encryption resolves these issues and is more suited for authentication and secure communications. Symmetric and asymmetric encryption can be combined to enhance both efficiency and security. In this hybrid approach, asymmetric encryption, such as RSA, is used to securely transmit or exchange a symmetric key. Once the symmetric key is securely shared, it is used by a symmetric encryption algorithm, like AES, to encrypt the actual data efficiently. This method provides the benefits of secure key exchange and rapid data encryption, and it is commonly used in securing web communications and various other protocols. In this video, you learn that symmetric encryption uses one key for data encryption and decryption. AES is a standard symmetric encryption algorithm. Asymmetric encryption uses a public key for encryption and a private key for data decryption. RSA is a popular asymmetric encryption algorithm. AES is fast and suited for encrypting large volumes of data, while RSA is more computationally intensive and secure. And finally, you learn that a combination of symmetric and asymmetric applications secures web communications. Welcome to this video on securing SSL and TLS and strengthening key management. After watching this video, you'll be able to explain the role of SSL and TLS and key management in security and list their associated vulnerabilities. You will also be able to outline the strategies employed to mitigate these vulnerabilities. Imagine a corporate office filled with valuable data. The security of this building and its data depends on two critical factors: the strength of the locking systems and the vigilance of preventing unauthorized access. Just like how outdated locking systems and poor security management can leave this building and critical information vulnerable to data breaches, outdated SSL and TLS protocols and poor security management can compromise digital communications and data security. The Secure Socket Layer, or SSL, and its successor Transport Layer are security tools designed to secure communications over a network. Let's explore some common vulnerabilities associated with SSL and TLS. Did you know that outdated SSL versions, SSL 2.0 and SSL 3.0, have security flaws, including vulnerability to the padding oracle on downgraded legacy encryption, or poodle attack? This could expose sensitive data like session cookies. However, disabling old SSL versions and using modern TLS versions, such as TLS 1.2 or TLS 1.3, mitigates this vulnerability. Secondly, some cipher suites, like Reverse Cipher 4 or RC4, can be easily compromised, allowing attackers to detect data from encrypted sessions. Strong cipher suites like Advanced Encryption Standard or AES and Galois and Counter Mode or GCM help avoid this vulnerability. Finally, SSL and TLS depend on certificate authorities or CAs to verify websites. These CAs, like DigiNotar in 2011, may be compromised, resulting in fake certificates and malicious websites. Certificate transparency logs and strict revocation practices help organizations protect themselves against this vulnerability. Now let's look at key management and its associated vulnerabilities. Key management involves generating, storing, distributing, and revoking cryptographic keys. It is crucial because poor key management can lead to unauthorized access and data exposure, compromising data security. Here are some vulnerabilities associated with key management. Improper key generation may lead to weak cryptographic keys vulnerable to brute force attacks. For instance, in 2012, many RSA algorithm asymmetric encryption keys were compromised due to insufficient randomness. Using secure random number generators and ensuring keys are at least 2048 bits long helps avoid problems associated with poor key generation. Next, insecure key storage can make encryption useless if attackers access the keys. For example, storing encryption keys on the same server as the data can lead to exposure if the server is breached. Employing secure key storage solutions like hardware security modules, or HSMs, or key vaults to protect and isolate keys minimizes the risk of insecure key storage. Finally, distributing keys securely, particularly in symmetric encryption, poses challenges. If an attacker intercepts the key during transmission, they can decrypt any future communication and cause data breaches. Key exchange protocols like Diffie-Hellum or Elliptic, Curve Diffie-Hellum or ECDH, and public key encryption protect keys during exchange. In this video, you learn that SSL and TLS are protocols for securing internet communications. Common SSL and TLS vulnerabilities include outdated protocol versions, weak cipher suites, and certificate authority compromises. Key management is crucial for maintaining security and involves generating, storing, distributing, and revoking cryptographic keys. And finally, vulnerabilities associated with key management include weak key generation, insecure key storage, and poor key distribution. Welcome to this video on cryptanalysis and its impact on encryption. After watching this video, you'll be able to describe cryptanalysis and explain the types of cryptanalytic attacks. Additionally, you'll also be able to illustrate the role of cryptanalysis in cryptographic development. Imagine you have a number lock on your suitcase but don't remember the combination. Instead of trying every possible combination, you listen closely as you turn the dials. You notice that when a certain number clicks differently, it's part of the correct combination. You eventually crack the code without knowing the original sequence by carefully observing and testing each dial. That's cryptanalysis in action. Cryptanalysis is the study of breaking cryptographic algorithms and deciphering encrypted data without knowing the key. It identifies flaws in cryptographic systems to improve security. While cryptography secures communication, cryptanalysis identifies weaknesses, often by ethical cryptanalysis, to strengthen encryption methods. Cryptanalytic attacks are methods used to break or weaken encryption, allowing access to hidden information without knowing the secret key. The attacks take advantage of flaws in the encryption method or how it's used. Now, let's learn about some common cryptanalytic attacks. Brute force attacks are one of the simplest methods in cryptanalysis. In these attacks, attackers systematically try every possible key until they find the correct one. For example, AES 128 encryption has 2 to the power of 128 possible keys, making brute force incredibly difficult, even with today's advanced computing power. A mitigation strategy for brute force attacks is to use longer key sizes, such as 256-bit keys. This greatly increases the number of possible keys and makes brute force attacks nearly impossible, providing much stronger security. Ciphertext-only attacks occur when a cryptanalyst tries to uncover the plaintext or encryption key using only intercepted ciphertexts. In this method, no other information is available except the encrypted message. For example, the Caesar cipher, which shifts letters by a set number, is vulnerable to this attack because of its simple structure. Modern encryption algorithms with complex key structures and randomized techniques make it much harder to identify patterns in the ciphertext, providing stronger protection against such attacks. In a known plaintext attack, the cryptanalyst compares the ciphertext with its corresponding plaintext to determine the encryption key or crack future encrypted messages. For example, during World War II, Allied cryptanalysts used known plaintext attacks to break the German Enigma cipher by recognizing repeated phrases like Heil Hitler. Techniques such as salting or adding random data before encryption can reduce the efficiency of such attacks. In a chosen plaintext attack, the cryptanalyst selects specific plaintexts and examines their corresponding ciphertexts to understand the encryption process and deduce the encryption key. For example, attackers might exploit patterns in how different plaintexts are encrypted to uncover weaknesses in the encryption scheme. To mitigate such attacks, techniques like adding randomization, using padding schemes, or employing encryption algorithms with strong key management practices can obscure patterns and enhance the security of the encryption process. A side-channel attack targets the weaknesses in a system's implementation rather than the encryption algorithm itself. Attackers can glean information about the encryption key by analyzing physical phenomena such as power consumption, timing variations, electromagnetic emissions, or even acoustic signals. For instance, a power analysis attack examines the electrical power used by a device during encryption, where small fluctuations can reveal details about the encryption key. To mitigate such attacks, hardware modifications, introducing noise, or randomizing the execution time of cryptographic algorithms can obscure the information that could otherwise be exploited. Differential cryptanalysis is an advanced attack method targeting symmetric key cryptosystems. It involves analyzing how changes in plaintext affect the corresponding changes in ciphertext. By carefully selecting pairs of plaintexts and observing their encrypted outputs, attackers can uncover patterns and deduce information about the encryption key. This technique has proven effective against specific block ciphers and has been used to compromise older algorithms, such as the Data Encryption Standard or DES. Using strong encryption algorithms helps protect against these attacks. Linear cryptanalysis is another advanced attack method that targets symmetric key cryptosystems. It establishes linear approximations to describe the behavior of block ciphers. Attackers gain insights into encryption by analyzing linear relationships between plaintext, ciphertext, and key bits. This approach can lead to partial or complete encryption key recovery if successful. Like differential cryptanalysis, linear cryptanalysis has been effective against older algorithms, highlighting the need for more secure encryption methods. Cryptanalysis is crucial for enhancing cryptographic development by identifying vulnerabilities. It aids in improving algorithm design by revealing flaws, such as those in the DES that led to the creation of the Advanced Encryption Standard, or AES. Cryptanalysis also plays a key role in establishing security standards, with organizations like the National Institute of Standards of Technology, or NIST, using it to ensure algorithms can resist attacks before they are standardized. Additionally, it helps detect implementation flaws, such as the heartbleed bug, and ensures that even robust algorithms are securely implemented. In this video, you learn that cryptanalysis is the study of breaking cryptographic systems and deciphering encrypted data without knowing the key. You also learned about common cryptanalytic attacks, including brute force attacks, ciphertext-only attacks, known plaintext attacks, chosen plaintext attacks, side-channel attacks, differential cryptanalysis, and linear cryptanalysis. Finally, you learn that cryptanalysis is crucial in enhancing cryptographic development by improving algorithm design, establishing security standards, and detecting implementation flaws. Congratulations on completing the course. Now that you have explored the theoretical concepts and practical applications of penetration testing, threat hunting, and cryptography, you will find plenty of opportunities to continue learning and applying your skills. Now, let's review some key aspects of what you learned throughout the course. Penetration or pen tests are simulated cyber attacks conducted to identify and evaluate security vulnerabilities in a system. Pen tests are classified into 4 categories based on the focus of the test. Application pen tests identify vulnerabilities within applications, whereas network pen tests examine network infrastructure security. Hardware pen tests focus on vulnerabilities in hardware systems, and personnel pen tests assess the security awareness and practices among employees. To conduct a penetration test and secure systems effectively, you can follow a structured 5-phase approach that includes planning, discovery, attack, verification, and reporting. The planning phase involves defining the penetration test scope and rules of engagement. The penetration test scope delineates the areas and systems to be tested and includes scope specifications, resource allocation, risk assessment, communication plan, and legal and compliance considerations. The rules of engagement specify the protocols and methodologies to be followed during the testing process, ensuring the minimization of potential disruptions. They have 8 essential components: scope definition, testing methods, timing and duration, authorized personnel, communication protocols, legal and ethical considerations, incident response plan, and post-testing procedures. Next, the discovery phase involves gathering intelligence about the target system through 2 sets of techniques, passive and active reconnaissance. The next phase, called the attack phase, includes running exploits, bypassing defenses, gaining elevated privileges, and initiating post-attack activities. Network protocol analyzers are tools pen testers use in the discovery phase to capture and analyze data packets, providing insights into network performance and security. These tools help network administrators diagnose issues, and pen testers identify vulnerabilities. Wireshark is a tool for analyzing network traffic in real time and plays a critical role in solving network issues. The different types of network scans include ping scan, synchronous or SYN scan, transmission control protocol or TCP connect scan, and user datagram protocol or UDP scan. While different types of pen tests exist, software and application pen testing, or app pen testing, is the most common. This test simulates attacks to identify and fix vulnerabilities in software applications before they can be exploited. The key steps to ensuring app security are identifying weaknesses, evaluating security, ensuring compliance, and reducing unauthorized access. The app pen tests include static application security testing, or SAST, dynamic application security testing, or DAST, interactive application security testing, or IAST, mobile application penetration testing, or MAPT, and web application penetration testing, or WAPT. Code repositories store code and scan these repositories to examine their source code to detect vulnerabilities, security flaws, or other issues. Software, components, and dependencies within a code repository must be scanned to ensure the code is error-free. Reporting is a critical phase in pen testing as it enables communication across stakeholders. A pen testing report provides a clear and comprehensive overview of the vulnerabilities identified and their potential impact on the organization. An effective report comprises 5 main sections: an executive summary, methodology and scope, findings, recommendations, and finally, conclusion and appendix. Threat hunting is a proactive strategy for managing hidden threats that have outsmarted traditional security protocols. Threat hunters can significantly reduce an organization's exposure to advanced cyber threats. There are 3 types of threat hunting: structured, unstructured, and situational. The 3 threat hunting models are intel-based, hypothesis, and custom. Threat intelligence involves gathering, analyzing, and sharing information on potential or existing security threats. The 4 types of threat intelligence are tactical, operational, strategic, and technical. The key elements of threat intelligence are indicators of compromise, threat actor profiles, tactics, techniques, procedures, and vulnerability information. Security information and event management, or SIEM solutions, help organizations identify and mitigate potential threats and vulnerabilities that could disrupt business activities. They aggregate, consolidate, and sort data to detect threats and fulfill compliance mandates. SIEM solutions' essential functions are log management, event correlation and analytics, incident monitoring, security alerts, compliance management, and reporting. Artificial intelligence, or AI, enhances the threat intelligence process by analyzing historical data through predictive analytics. AI also helps in the threat hunting process by integrating data from multiple sources, providing a comprehensive view of security, and enabling better decision-making. The cyber kill chain is a model that outlines the stages of a cyber attack, helping security professionals understand and combat threats. The cyber kill chain has 7 phases: reconnaissance, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, and actions and objectives. Encryption and hashing are the 2 most common cryptographic methods for securing data. Encryption ensures data confidentiality by locking data with a key, while decryption unlocks it using the same key. Hashing creates a unique, irreversible pattern used to verify data integrity. Cryptanalysis is the study of breaking cryptographic systems and deciphering encrypted data without keys. Common cryptanalytic attacks include brute force attacks, ciphertext-only attacks, known plain text attacks, chosen plain text attacks, side-channel attacks, and differential and linear cryptanalysis. Now that you've reviewed some of the fundamental ideas presented in this course, remember that each module has a summary and a glossary. You can use them to quickly reference much of what you learned. To strengthen your learning from this course, actively participate in and complete the practice assessment at the end of each lesson and the graded assessment at the end of each module offered across the course. The course contains multiple hands-on labs and a final project to help you gain practical exposure to the tools and technologies you learned. Congratulations on completing this course, and good luck on your journey with cybersecurity.